What's shaking, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Cocteau Twins, and we're returning to Victorialand 1986. Thank you again to Mr. Solo, as well as Mark and all the others who commented on the first track on the album, gave me a little insight. And the second track on the record is Fluffy Tufts, which is a bit of an amusing title. It's not quite redundant, but it feels like both words are driving at the same qualities, even though one is an adjective, one is a noun, which is to say something that is fluffy, has volume but not density. A tuft, whether you're talking vegetation or hair or feathers, is a shape that has, again, volume but is relatively light, or what's the opposite of dense? Airy. So yeah, I feel like there's a clear sense of the tactile and visual nature being suggested here, but being a Cocteau Twins song, I don't necessarily expect any narrative or even full thematic exploration, more just an atmosphere, a vibe, a sense of the materials or shapes at play. Either way, I will try to catch what I can. This is Cocteau Twins. The track is Fluffy Tufts, and it's from their 1986 album Victorialand. Shorter one. So yeah, sonically that's fascinating, because my brain kind of had two, I suppose, quite different feelings or understandings of the sonic rhythm and dynamics, which is to say, in one way it felt like a singing procession that just kept kind of tumbling forward, and I think maybe that guitar, which I think that was guitar with like effects on it, certainly it was a bit echoed, but yeah, it gave me this moving forward but in a very elegant and vocally led manner, and yet it also felt evaporative, like we were, slowly going higher and higher and, floating like a little fluffy tuft, like a, oh, what's the, like a dandelion seed, just kind of floating on the mercurial wind. So yeah, it had a bit of an evaporative quality, but also a, not marching, that's way too strong, or like rigid or formal, but a processual type of quality to it as well. I do like the layered vocals from Elizabeth, and there was those more like tribal, for lack of a better word, a couple tribal expressive vocal moments that she had, which really did stand out. Again, you would never mistake this for anyone else. I've heard enough Cocteau Twins, light, dark, some different tempos and characters, but they certainly are just not even in their own lane. They're just off on their own island relative to a lot of other groups that I listen to, which I mean in the best way possible. So again, it sounds unmistakably like Cocteau Twins. It is on the lighter side. It's maybe not quite as psychedelic and dreamy as some other tunes, but it's certainly in that direction of the sonic spectrum. And as I said, I don't think, there's any overt narrative here. It feels, again, like some of the vocals are more melodic than anything else. I'm sure there are words here, but I didn't really catch them in any detail. So yeah, it was more of like, again, vibes type of vocals as they hit my ears and brain anyway. So yes, another tune, definitely a shorter one though. Honestly, like 3 minutes? Yeah, between a little over 3, not quite 3.5. So yeah, on the, or in the larger catalog, one of the shorter ones, but very compelling at the same time. Once again, shout out to all those who've continued through this journey. Let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.